My accidental brush with the fox queens behind, and how it sparked our eternal love bond. The quiet cartographer and the starlit attendants. The sun hung low over Kamar City, casting amber light across the desert highway where Karim Fod pulled his dusty sedan into an oddly pristine car wash. He'd driven this route 100 times, mapping the expanding city's borders, but he'd never noticed this place before, all chrome and glass, gleaming like a mirage. 3 attendants emerged as he stepped out. The first, a woman with silver-white hair named Thyrea, moved with an unusual grace. Beside her stood Velson, whose dark eyes seemed to perceive more than they should, and Mirarek, whose smile held secrets. They looked human enough, but something in their synchronization felt otherworldly. "Welcome, traveler," Thyrea said, her voice carrying harmonics that made Karim's chest resonate. "Your vehicle requires care." "Just a basic wash, please," Karim replied, offering a tired but genuine smile. "It's been a long week." As they worked, he noticed their fascination with simple things, the way he thanked them, how he picked up a dropped cloth before they could, the patience in his posture as he waited. Velson approached with water, and when their fingers briefly touched during the exchange, Karim felt a strange warmth. "You carry kindness like others carry burdens," Mirarek observed, tilting his head. "It radiates from you." Karim laughed, embarrassed. "I'm just a cartographer. I map streets and buildings, nothing special." "Maps tell stories of where people have been," Thyrea replied, her gaze intense. "But you map something deeper without knowing it." The 3 exchanged glances, communicating in a language beyond words. In their hidden data pads, disguised as cleaning equipment, readings spiked. Karim's emotional frequency registered at 7.9 on their scale, a number they'd encountered only 3 times in 5 years of Earth observation. As Karim drove away, freshly washed car gleaming, Thyrea whispered to her companions, "Mark him. His thread will weave into something extraordinary soon." "Shall we follow?" Velson asked. "No need," Mirarek smiled. "Fate is already in motion." Karim remained unaware that 3 beings from Zenthri had just catalogued him as someone whose very presence bent the fabric of connection itself, a human whose simple, authentic kindness was about to collide with destiny, the festival collision. The Festival of Lanterns transformed Kamar City into a river of light. Thousands of paper lanterns floated skyward, carrying wishes into the desert night. Karim wandered through the crowded marketplace, his sketchbook tucked under his arm, capturing the geometry of celebration, how joy created its own architecture. He turned a corner near the fountain square, distracted by a child releasing a golden lantern, and collided softly with someone moving in the opposite direction. His hand instinctively reached out to steady them, and for a heartbeat, his palm rested against warm fabric at a waist, the briefest, most innocent contact. "I'm so sorry, I wasn't." The words died as he looked up. The woman before him had lowered her hood slightly, revealing amber eyes that caught the lantern light like liquid fire. Her features were striking, high cheekbones, full lips curved in surprise, and an elegance that seemed to command space itself. A scarf covered most of her face, but those eyes held him captive. "No harm done," she said, and then something unexpected happened. She laughed. Not a polite chuckle, but genuine, unguarded laughter that made her eyes crinkle with delight. "Though you certainly know how to make an entrance." Karim felt heat rise to his face. "I was watching the lanterns, and I didn't see. Are you hurt?" "Only my dignity," she teased, adjusting her hood. "And perhaps my ribs from laughing." Around them, several figures tensed, guards in civilian clothing, Karim would realize later, but the woman waved them back with a subtle gesture. She studied Karim with an intensity that made him feel transparent, yet not uncomfortable. "You apologize as though you've committed a crime," she observed. "It was just an accident." "Still, I should pay more attention." Karim managed a smile. "Especially during festivals when queens might be walking among us." It was a joke, but her eyes flickered with something unreadable. "Queens." A figure of speech. "Someone as graceful as you deserves royal treatment, at least an apology worthy of." "Stop," she interrupted gently, her hand briefly touching his arm. The contact sent unexpected warmth through him. "Your apology was perfect the first time. Sincere apologies are rarer than you'd think. A vendor's call broke the moment, and the woman glanced toward her waiting companions. I should go. The festival awaits. Wait, Karim heard himself say. I didn't catch your name. Dahlia, she answered after a pause. Just Dahlia. Karim. Just Karim. He smiled, earning another of her genuine laughs. As she disappeared into the crowd, Karim felt something shift inside him, a thread pulled taut across the space where she'd stood. He didn't notice the three familiar figures watching from a nearby cafe terrace, their instruments glowing with readings they'd never recorded before. The ether bond, Thyrea whispered, awe in her voice. It's forming. Right now. Velson's hands moved rapidly across his device. Probability matrices collapsing. This wasn't random, this was convergence. Two souls meeting at the precise moment when loneliness peaked in both, Mirarek added softly. The universe truly does conspire for those ready to connect. Across the festival grounds, in a royal viewing platform hidden from common sight, Queen Dahlia Shaheen of the Desert Fox Court removed her hood fully, touching the spot on her waist where a stranger's steadying hand had rested. For the first time in 3 years of ruling, she'd felt seen, not as a crown, but as a woman. Her attendant, Lady Farah, approached carefully. Your Majesty, that man was kind, Dahlia finished, her voice distant, and made me laugh. When was the last time someone made me laugh, Farah? The question hung unanswered as the Queen watched lanterns rise, each carrying a wish into the infinite dark. Secret encounters begin. 3 days passed before Karim saw her again. He'd returned to his mapping work, measuring the new commercial district's expansion, but his mind wandered to amber eyes and unexpected laughter. He told himself it was foolish, a momentary encounter, nothing more. Then she appeared at the Khalil rooftop garden, the city's forgotten sanctuary where Karim often sketched during lunch breaks. She wore simple clothes, a flowing azure tunic and dark pants, her hair loose around her shoulders. No hood, no guards visible, though Karim suspected they lurked nearby. Just Karim, she greeted, settling onto the stone bench beside him. Do you always hide in gardens? His heart stuttered. Just Dahlia. Do you always track down people you bump into? Only the interesting ones. She leaned closer, examining his sketchbook. You really do map the city. Someone has to remember what was here before the towers rise. He showed her a drawing of an old coffee house, demolished last month. Every building has a story. And what's yours? The question was soft, genuinely curious. They talked for 2 hours. Karim learned she loved poetry but found official court verses. He caught the slip, but said nothing, artificial and hollow. She discovered his mother had been a calligrapher, teaching him to see beauty in lines and curves. The conversation flowed like water finding its course, natural and inevitable. As sunset painted the sky in rose and gold, Dahlia's hand drifted across the bench, her fingers stopping just short of his. Can I see you again? Tomorrow. Karim's voice was hopeful. There's a library in the old quarter. The Ulkamar Archives. Hardly anyone goes there anymore. Perfect. Her smile carried secrets and promises both. The next 2 weeks became a series of stolen moments, afternoons in the archives where they whispered among ancient manuscripts, early mornings at a riverside cafe where the owner asked no questions, evenings walking paths tourists never found. Each meeting revealed new layers. In the archives, surrounded by the scent of old paper and sandalwood, Dahlia confessed her loneliness. Everyone sees what they need me to be, she said, her fingers tracing the spine of a poetry collection. No one asks who I am underneath. Karim set down his coffee. Then tell me. Not what you do, but who you are. Her eyes glistened. I'm someone who forgot how to be herself. Until a clumsy cartographer reminded me. I wasn't that clumsy, he protested gently. No. She smiled, moving closer on the worn leather couch. You were exactly clumsy enough. Their fingers intertwined naturally, and Karim felt that same warmth from their first touch, stronger now. Dahlia leaned her head against his shoulder, and they sat in comfortable silence, listening to rain begin its evening percussion against ancient windows. From a building across the plaza, Thyrea adjusted her observation lens. The bond strengthens exponentially. See how their biofrequencies synchronize. Velson nodded, recording data. Heartbeats matching within 0.3 seconds. Respiratory patterns aligning. This is extraordinary, Mirarek finished. In all our travels, across 17 planets, I've never seen an ether bond form this purely. No manipulation, no artificial compatibility. Just two souls recognizing each other. Back in the library, Karim gathered courage. Dahlia, I don't know your full story, and I sense there's much you can't tell me. But I want you to know, whoever you are beyond these moments, I'm here. She pulled back to look at him fully, amber eyes searching his face. You mean that? I do. Even if the truth is complicated? Even if I come with responsibilities you can't imagine? Everyone carries complications. He brushed a strand of hair from her face, the gesture tender and unhurried. The question is whether we carry them alone or together. Dahlia's breath caught. In her world of calculated alliances and political marriages, such simple, unconditional acceptance didn't exist. Yet here sat a man who asked nothing but her authentic presence. She kissed him then, soft, tentative, a question and answer both. Karim responded with equal gentleness, his hand cradling her face as though she were precious and breakable, though he sensed the strength beneath her grace. When they parted, foreheads touching, Dahlia whispered, I'm falling in love with you, and I shouldn't be. Why not? Because loving me will complicate your life in ways you can't comprehend. Karim smiled against her skin. Then we'll figure it out. One complication at a time. Outside, thunder rolled across Kamar City, but inside the archives, two people had found shelter in each other, unaware that their connection was already being written into legends across worlds. The eternal thread revealed. The truth arrived with the dawn, though not as Karim expected. He woke in the garden to find Dahlia sitting upright, wrapped in her shawl, watching him with eyes that held both love and sorrow. There's something I must tell you, she began, her voice steady despite the tremor in her hands. My full name is Dahlia Shaheen. I am queen of the Desert Fox Court, sovereign of the 7 southern provinces, and daughter of the Shaheen bloodline that has ruled for 300 years. Karim sat up slowly, processing. The guards, the careful meetings, the way people unconsciously deferred to her, it all crystallized. You're the queen. Yes. She waited for rejection, for anger at the deception. Instead, Karim took her hands. Does this change who you are when you laugh at my terrible jokes? When you steal the last date because you think I won't notice? When you fall asleep with your hand over my heart? Tears spilled down her cheeks. No. Then it changes nothing that matters. He kissed her knuckles. Though I understand now why you said loving you would be complicated. The court will never accept a commoner as Your Majesty. Lady Farah burst through the garden entrance, followed by royal guards and, surprisingly, Thyrea, Velson, and Mirarek. Forgive the intrusion, but these visitors claim to have urgent information regarding your connection. Dahlia stood protectively in front of Karim. Explain yourselves. Thyrea stepped forward, her appearance subtly shifting to reveal the faint luminescence of her true form. We are Zenthri observers, sent to study human emotional bonds. But what we've witnessed between you transcends our mission. Velson activated a holographic display showing swirling energy patterns. This is an ether bond, what your legends call an eternal thread. It exists across dimensions, woven by forces beyond any single world's understanding. We've documented only 12 true ether bonds in 5,000 years of observation, Mirarek added gently. Yours is the 13th. The collision at the festival wasn't random, it was a cosmic convergence point where two souls destined to connect finally aligned. Dahlia's chief advisor, who had followed the commotion, stared at the display. The ancient prophecy. When the Fox Queen finds her thread through accidental grace, no law of earth or heaven shall sever what fate has laced. You knew. Dahlia whispered. It's been in our archives for generations, Your Majesty. We simply never believed. The advisor looked at Karim with new respect. The prophecy states that when a true eternal thread forms, the kingdom must honor it or face calamity. It's cosmic law. Karim found his voice. I don't want to force anything through prophecy or fear. Dahlia should choose freely. I choose you, she said immediately, turning to face him. Prophecy or not, bond or not, I choose you, Karim. 1,000 times over. The garden erupted in murmured conversations as courtiers debated implications, but Karim and Dahlia existed in their own space, foreheads pressed together, hands intertwined. Thyrea approached them carefully. Your bond creates a bridge, between your two worlds, yes, but also between Earth and the greater cosmic community. Zenthari formally requests permission to document this union as proof that true connection recognizes no boundaries of class, culture, or even planets. Permission granted, Dahlia said, never taking her eyes from Karim. Let our love be a bridge for anyone who needs to believe in it. The weeks that followed transformed Kamar City. The Queen's unprecedented choice sparked debates, celebrations, and ultimately, a quiet revolution in how people viewed the possibilities of connection. Karim remained himself, still a cartographer, still humble, but now mapping new territory as Dahlia's acknowledged partner. On their formal bonding ceremony 6 months later, Thyrea, Velson, and Mirarek stood as honored witnesses, their report to Zenthari already legendary. The car wash where they'd first noticed Karim became a pilgrimage site for lovers, adorned with lanterns and prayers. As Karim and Dahlia exchanged vows beneath the same olive tree where they'd first surrendered to love, the Zenthari instruments registered something extraordinary. The ether bond wasn't just between two people, it was radiating outward, subtly raising the emotional frequency of everyone it touched. Love is contagious, Mirarek observed, smiling. Not contagious, Velson corrected gently. Transformative. Later, as the celebration continued around them, Karim pulled Dahlia onto a quiet balcony overlooking the city he'd spent years mapping, now seeing it with new eyes. A year ago, I was just a man drawing lines on paper, he mused. Now I'm married to a queen, friends with aliens, and apparently part of a cosmic prophecy. Dahlia laughed, the sound he'd first fallen in love with. And I was a lonely queen who forgot how to be human. Until a clumsy cartographer accidentally changed everything. Best accident of my life. Mine too. She kissed him softly. Every moment from here. The eternal thread glowed between them, visible only to those with eyes to see it. A testament that the smallest moments often carry the greatest destinies, and that love, when true, becomes a map to guide others home. Lessons from an eternal thread. True love begins not with grand gestures, but with the courage to be genuinely present in small, ordinary moments, for it is there that souls recognize each other. The deepest connections require the bravery to be completely vulnerable, revealing not the person you think you should be, but the authentic self you fear others might reject. Love worthy of eternity asks nothing of titles or status, but everything of honesty, tenderness, and the willingness to choose each other daily, especially when choosing is difficult. When two hearts align in truth, they create ripples across all existence, proving that a single authentic bond can illuminate the path for countless others still searching for home. The deepening connection. The full moon rose over Kamar City's eastern gardens, a private sanctuary Dahlia had arranged through careful maneuvering. She told her council she needed solitude for meditation, a half-truth, as being with Karim was the only time her soul truly rested. He arrived carrying jasmine flowers and a nervous smile. I wasn't sure if you'd actually be here. This place looks restricted. I have my ways. Dahlia took his hand, leading him deeper into the garden where fountains sang and night-blooming flowers released their perfume. Tonight, no interruptions. No responsibilities. Just us. They spread a blanket beneath an ancient olive tree, its branches creating a canopy of silver-touched leaves. Karim unpacked simple food, dates, cheese, flatbread, while Dahlia poured mint tea from a thermos, her movements graceful and deliberate. Tell me something you've never told anyone, she requested, settling close to him, their shoulders touching. Karim considered. Sometimes when I'm mapping the city, I imagine the lives happening inside each building. The conversations, the heartbreaks, the quiet moments of joy. I create stories for places, give them souls. He laughed self-consciously. It's probably silly. It's beautiful. Dahlia's hand found his cheek, turning him to face her. You see the world with such tenderness. Even buildings deserve your compassion. And you. He captured her hand, pressing a kiss to her palm. What haven't you told anyone? Her expression grew vulnerable. That I'm terrified of disappearing into my role completely. That some mornings I wake up and don't recognize the woman in the mirror. She looks like me but speaks words written by others, makes decisions that serve everyone except herself. Her voice dropped to a whisper. Until you. With you, I remember who Dahlia actually is. Karim pulled her closer, and she came willingly, curling into his embrace. Then be her. Here, always, be exactly who you are. The kiss that followed was different from their first, deeper, more urgent, weighted with weeks of restrained longing. Dahlia's fingers threaded through his hair as Karim's hands spanned her waist, drawing her across his lap until they were breath and heartbeat, tangled and inseparable. Karim, she breathed against his lips, and the way she said his name, raw and needing, undid something in him. I'm here, he murmured, trailing kisses along her jaw, down her neck, feeling her pulse quicken beneath his lips. I'm not going anywhere. She guided his hands beneath her tunic, craving the warmth of skin on skin, and when his palms settled against her back, she trembled, not from cold, but from the overwhelming rightness of being truly touched, truly seen. They moved to the blanket, the moon their only witness. Karim worshipped her with patient reverence, each kiss a promise, each caress a prayer. Dahlia responded with equal devotion, learning the landscape of him, discovering what made him gasp, what made him whisper her name like an invocation. When they finally joined, it was with eyes open, gazes locked, two souls meeting in the space between heartbeats. The physical connection was exquisite, but what shattered them both was the emotional intimacy, the absolute vulnerability, the complete trust, the recognition that this moment would mark them forever. Later, wrapped in each other beneath the olive tree, Dahlia traced patterns on Karim's chest. The old stories speak of eternal threads, bonds that transcend lifetimes. My grandmother said when you find your thread, you feel like you've come home to a place you've never been. Is that what this is? Karim's voice rumbled beneath her ear. Yes. She kissed the space above his heart. Absolutely yes. Miles away, in their observation post, the Zen3 team watched their instruments display readings that defied all previous data. Thyria's hands trembled as she recorded the numbers. The ether bond is complete, Velson confirmed, his voice awed. Full synchronization across all levels, emotional, mental, physical, spiritual. The probability of this occurring naturally is incalculable, Mirarek finished. We're witnessing something that exists in theory but rarely manifests. A perfect bond. Should we report to the council? Thyria asked. Not yet. Velson made a decision that would later be debated across Zen3 academia. Let it develop organically. This is too precious to disturb. In the garden, Karim held Dahlia as she finally allowed herself to sleep without guard, her breathing deep and peaceful. He watched the stars wheel overhead, understanding instinctively that whatever came next, complications, revelations, challenges, they would face together. The eternal thread had been woven, and nothing in heaven or earth could unravel it now.